Education, Laurie Kilmartin.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Do I have to leave my light on? This is like an hour of... This is okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's moody.
Fine. Yeah, like me. Moody.
Too funny. Hey, nothing happened this week. Weird.
I know. Well, wasn't it...
I'm kidding. It was the Gaffigans.
Comedy-wise?
Yeah.
I was just going to say Gaffigan. Yeah, but go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Gaffigan had essentially an epiphany. You know, he used to just be a regular comic, and then they turned him into this weird, clean comic because he wasn't particularly dirty.
I don't think anyone
like 20 years ago, right? He was just a comic, right? He was just a headliner road guy who was clean and dirty and clean, but he was mostly he was a dirty, but I mean he wasn't like, I'm gonna bring my 9-year-old to a show. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm just saying, but he turned into this arena guy.
Yeah, sure. He got very successful.
He found there was a path that he ended up going on.
It's a path. We're all looking for a path.
I'm not looking for a path. I don't know what path.
I want a path.
There you go. You say it like that. Laurie Kilmartin would like a path, you guys.
But yeah, that was pretty awesome. I think he wrote something tonight on Facebook where he addressed his Twitter quote rant or whatever. But
yeah, I read
it. Yeah, I skimmed it. But it was a long. I didn't have time. It was long. Really read it. But the tweets were very exciting because that's not his personality necessarily. I mean, on stage as a performer at all. And obviously every comic is a raging inferno of hate secretly. And we all learn to,
No.
Yes. Yeah. And you're the worst, by the way.
Disagree.
You're the worst. You're the worst.
I'm not the worst.
You are.
I'm the best.
You're the angriest.
Well, I'll say this, is that I do have rage that is recently discovered. I'm like an onion of rage.
Yeah, it's always been there. It's always been there.
Yeah, but what I thought was interesting is because they did the same thing to Gaffigan that they did to Brian Regan, right? Which is what they assume that these guys don't have opinions or brains, they aren't a whole person. Yeah, the media and their fans, like the people, they assume that they're not whole people. Right? That they don't have a voting record. That they like Jim Gaffigan has what does he have? 8 children? I think he has 11 children, and I think he's got a vested interest in the future. The guy has 16 kids.
Jackie.
Yeah. How many kids does he have, Laurie?
He has 5 kids. He has 5.
Does he have 5? Does he have 5 children?
Yes, he does.
What are their names?
But for a comic, that is like having 16 children for a regular person.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
It's a huge investment in the future and quite a show of confidence in your own abilities to have any children on purpose.
Right. It feels like it. I read some article probably 10 years ago about having more than 2 kids is bragging in New York. That your career is on fire.
Well, and you have the space for 2 kids. Yeah. That was pretty exciting, and a woman named Karen told them to stick to comedy. It was
That's
so perfect.
It was a caricature. It's like the perfect it was the perfect heckler, and then the perfect response because he could just say "fuck you, Karen," and. He just the guy doesn't swear that often, and he didn't swear 20 years ago, right? Yeah. He swears like a person who rarely swears. I swear more than he does, and
Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Glad you had a good time with that one. That's awesome. It's
but I think that was the big comedy news this week, right? I don't think there was anything crazier. I did 2 outdoor shows. I gotta tell you about
2. Okay.
So my buddy who produced my special 45 jokes about my dead dad, the stand-up part, Tammy Jo Deeren and her wife Nicole, they produce shows at the Comedy Store. They produced a show called Bitch up in the Belly Room. It's great. It's great. So obviously they haven't the Comedy Store closed. So they built a stage, like they fucking built plywood. They made a stage. And they put tea lights up, and they have a pole in the middle. It's a huge thing that they built in the parking lot of the Magic Castle. The Magic Castle is this
Is that hers?
Yeah.
That's her show. Okay, yeah. That's awesome.
So it's the Magic Castle is this institution in LA where magicians perform, and you kind of have to know somebody to get in. I have no idea how that business model works, but
is this your car? Yes, I know.
Oh my God, you're on fire in a bad way. So the audience, and then Magic Castle's on a little bit of a hill, so the comics are up on the top of a bit of a hill, and then we walk downstairs. This is all outdoors. We walk downstairs to the stage, and the stage is built in the parking lot, so the audience is all in their cars. Nicole came up with this amazing idea where she bought these plastic hands that clap. And
Nicole, Tammy's wife. Okay.
So when people instead of honking, when they like the joke, they clack, and it's a clacking sound, and it sounds like applause a little bit, and castanets.
This is so funny because you're like, no, it's good, it's great, it's got potential. Keep going.
Here's the thing. So it kind of sounds like castanets, and so. I mean, obviously stand-up comedy is you're making someone laugh. Laughter is an involuntary reaction, and shaking castanets is the voluntary reaction. So it's not, it's a delayed response that people can choose to participate in or not. Maybe they don't like that he laughed at a joke, so they're not going to hit their castanet. You know what I mean? Like that happens too.
That's so weird. It has sort of that same delay as being in a big room or being on the internet, but you're outside with real people, which is exciting.
I was so nervous, and we each had our own mic, there was at least 8 mics on stands. And so as you approach the stage, there's a stagehand underneath. That might have been the MC, but I forget. I was so nervous. I forgot so much of it. Just kind of points to this mic stand you're supposed to grab, you grab it, and you do your set. And it's 10 minutes, and, you get a light or whatever. It's easy to see. And, it was fun. I mean,
was it in the dark? Can I ask? It in the dark? Okay.
It's dark. And you're high up on Franklin in downtown in Los Angeles, and so you're looking over a lot of Los Angeles. It's a really beautiful view for the stand-ups.
Sure.
People flash their lights if they like something, and you can hear some laughter. Some people are in convertibles and stuff like that, but they're hyper. They take your temperature as you come in, as you enter the area, and everyone's masked and kind of policed that way. All those comics backstage, but it was just so. That hanging out with comics, and
it was blessedly different. I'm so fucking jealous.
Yeah.
It was different from doing this. I'm so fucking jealous. I can't even. No one's asked me to do any outdoor shows. Nobody's asked me. Anyway, but it was great.
Yeah. Well, you know how to make a contact.
Is that how you did it?
She asked me, but I've known her.
Yeah.
We're close. I'm sorry, you and I don't exactly have the same relationships with everybody on Earth, okay?
Yeah, we do. I am the same person as you, and I should have all of your friends.
Oh, what's hilarious is somebody, I'm not going to, wait, I can put it in the chat, emailed me, or DM'd me, and I responded, and then she said, yeah, Jackie. Like she forgot which one of us she was talking to. I'm like, she should know better at this point, but that's okay. What? It's a pandemic. You can't get mad about shit.
Right.
It's a slight thing to get angry about, and I get it. But yes, you're right. You're right.
That's me being snarky just on chat.
Yes. Wow. Jackie's on fire, and she's coming for me, guys. Help me.
I'm gunning for you. No, I'm jealous. What was the other outdoor one?
Oh, she's doing them Thursday through Sunday. So I did 2 in a row. Mm-hmm. So both nights, Eliza, are you, all right,
I'll be fine.
Seething.
Just settle in your jealousy for a second. Okay?
That's just gotta have a moment. I just had a couple of beats where I had to breathe. That's fine. I had a lot of shows this week too, I had a lot of shows.
We'll get to your little showlets.
My little showlets. I had indoor showlets, you guys.
Let me finish. But I'm definitely interested in all your experiences, Jackie. So
such a dick. Go.
So Eliza Schlesinger was on both shows that I was on, and she's about to do a tour, which is basically a drive-in tour.
Right. I saw her Instagram.
Yeah, and I was watching her, and I think she's gonna do really well because she's very physical, and performing it that way, the more you use your body to sell the whole joke, the better off you're going to be. She had really great sets both nights, and it was just, I was like, yeah, she's going to fucking crush these things,
Yeah.
I was in so much shock of performing that it was hard to really enjoy anything, and then to get used to the timing of the castanet noises, and you know what I mean? It's a lot to switch, in your head.
It's another new thing to learn.
Yes.
But it was fun and interesting really and different.
Bill Burr did one of them, so that one was sold out. That was packed. And then Neil Brennan did one, and who else was there? There's a lot of Sarah Tiana did this joke that was so good. And I almost didn't compliment her on it because I figured it was an old joke, and no one likes to compliment on an old joke. But I did, and she's like, "Oh, I just wrote it." I'm like, "What the fuck? It has 3 punchlines already." I was outraged, but
oh my god,
that was great.
I saw Eliza Skinner this week, and I wrote, and I've talked about this joke on this show before.
Yeah.
In probably 94 or 95, I had a cunt dick. Bitch joke, the difference between the word bitch and cunt.
Yeah.
Eliza Skinner, all I had in 1995 or 4 was actually, it turns out, the premise. Eliza Skinner has written the punchline. So, it's a great fucking joke.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Did you just see her recently do a Saturday thing?
Yeah. I did 5 shows this week. Which was 6 if you count. I did Winter Spears has a sort of a live talk show kind of thing, where they essentially talk about different, it's sort of just a riffing kind of 3 comics, and then they have an extra person come on, and I think I didn't do, it was just chitter chat. It was just panel essentially, right?
Yeah.
But then I did on Thursday, I did my show to work on stuff, which was good, and had Bamford and Aaron Jackson do guest sets in front of so that show was amazing.
Cool.
That was on Friday. On Saturday, I did a Flappers benefit, and I think the benefit I did with Kylie. I did it with Brian Kiley.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, super. He's so freaking funny. What a goof, man.
Yes.
And then he told me.
Not an extra word in his jokes.
Yeah,
not even a fucking extra word.
You'll be happy to know that he said that he stopped listening to this show because he used to listen to it. Then he realized he hung out with you for 60 hours a week.
There's no need to hear this voice.
Exactly. Another hour. He's good. And then I did a DNA benefit on Friday night as well, and both of those shows were really good. For Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And
DNA himself or for the club?
DNA and his club. And,
Okay.
he had to evacuate because of the fires.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, so it was kind of a benefit for him.
Is the club okay?
I think it's just evacuation. I don't think I don't think it is burned to the ground at this time. So, and then
oh my God, that poor guy. He was fucking up in near the Paradise Fire last year. Jesus.
Yeah, and then I did 2 sets tonight, DC Loft, which I'm supposed to be at in October. Yeah, possibly not. And then Wonder Dave. You know Wonder Dave? With Marcus.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I did that show. Yeah.
San Francisco. Yeah. So I did a pile of shows and a bunch of great comics. And so that was super fun, actually. And yeah, I don't know. What I liked, my favorite thing that happened this week was I couldn't remember the name of one essentially well-respected male comic, and I used another well-respected, but they're both kind of, grumpy-ish. You know, they're essentially the.
Can I have a name? Can you put a name in the chat?
Yeah, it was. I gave you this guy, and you came up with In One. Remember that guy?
Oh, when we were chatting.
I said. So it's like that guy, except for
more storytellerish.
More storytellerish and just slightly less aggressive, but more conservative. But neither one of them super liberal or super conservative.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're both just giant. They're just ego trips.
Well,
and very funny, and both very funny.
I mean, we're all ego trips. But I mean, some people are just not gonna engage in politics at all, no matter what, right?
Well, except for that the second guy does. That guy does. Yeah, he does.
Okay.
And but it's but they're both really good comics, as far as. But they are canonized.
Okay. Why are you angry though about that?
I'm not. I think I just have anger.
Yeah.
I don't think it's directed at anything in particular right now.
Okay.
I am literally just a pitcher of anger right now. You don't have to pour me out. I'm overflowing. So I did 5 sets this week, which means that I should be on the fucking moon. And instead I'm like just holding on by a thread over here.
Understood. Completely understood.
Too funny.
People are moving. It's weird.
Well, why stay if you're just going to work from your house? If you always hated LA anyway.
Well, I mean,
feel free to get out.
Do you think LA is not coming back? I was
No, I think LA is coming back.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm assuming we'll be doing more. We'll be doing spots within 6 months or a year, maybe. No.
Right. Well, hopefully, but it depends. I mean, I think people. I don't know. I think to some extent people are afraid, and so they want to be around their siblings and their families and their hometowns and where they grew up, right?
Yes. That's one set of people. But then some other comics seem to be going to just like relocating for career purposes.
Or tax reasons.
Okay. Really?
Right? Didn't someone say that a bunch of people were moving to Tennessee because they don't have income tax?
No, Texas.
Okay.
But I know there's people moving to Nashville.
Yeah, I thought that
they don't have ties to Nashville. I'm like, why? I don't understand going to Tennessee ever. I mean, except for a gig, but I don't understand moving there. But someone like we're all kind of talking about it when at the outdoor show I did, Jackie.
Yeah.
And
such an ass.
I forget which night it was. Was it night 2 or night 1?
Was it?
But anyway, we were talking.
Laurie did a couple of outdoor shows, you guys. I don't know if you're familiar.
And someone was saying, well, when you're in Nashville, you're 3 hours from every gig. You're not doing cross country, 6-hour flights and stuff. So I mean, maybe that's something. But is there enough road work to justify just up and moving to Nashville?
Well, you can fly everywhere, but that's the same. You could live in Evansville, Indiana. Then, which would be even worse.
Then you got to drive to the airport.
Right. Well, Kathleen Madigan, I think, has a little compound outside of Nashville. That's like 5 minutes from the airport.
Well, why? But you know her better than I do. Why did she pick Nashville?
Because we could move anywhere, right? I could move back to Milwaukee or Minneapolis, and it would be the same, right?
No, you wouldn't be doing spots in LA.
Right, but it doesn't. I mean, I don't.
Or New York, right?
Right, but I could do what I do on regular, normal years, which is go to New York for a week or two,
right,
and do spots and remind everybody I exist, and I think that it's mostly. I remember when I first moved here, there were a bunch of comics who had moved here from Minneapolis 4 years earlier.
Right.
Who were like, I'm still doing the road 35, 45 weeks a year. I don't know what I'm doing in Los Angeles. I have an apartment that I'd never live in. So I might as well go live in Minneapolis where it's cheaper and my mom lives there.
Right.
And so they,
well, like Nate Bargatze lives in Nashville, but
right,
he also
and has
a
family.
He does. Yeah. I don't know what kind of coffee you drank before this podcast, Jackie, but you were
what do you
bouncing
mean?
off the
What do you mean?
walls.
What do you mean? I did 2 sets and I saw some seals down at Marina Del Rey.
Oh, I saw your picture. That was cute.
Yeah, they were adorable. So.
But he has family and he's from the South, so that makes sense to me. I'm like just shocked that like non-Southern comics are moving to the South. That's all.
Well, and Madigan remembers from St. Louis, which might as well be the South, right?
Oh, that's true. Right. Does she have family? She has a big family. Maybe she has some people in Nashville or something.
I don't know. I think because it'd be like there's a bunch of people who live in Atlanta too, and they're not from.
They've got to be Southern, right?
No, I don't. I think that it's just a nice city.
It is a nice city, but
yeah, you're right. But you have to I don't know. Would you move back to Walnut Creek or would you move to San Francisco?
Me. Well, first, I don't like how you said Walnut Creek.
I'll say Walnut Creek however I want. I did a pool hall there 7 times. That was exhausting.
I don't know. I mean, I miss the swimming pool there. I do miss the Walnut Creek, the Heather Farms. They had a really nice pool, and I miss the team. I guess maybe like when I'm 80, because I think I'll be a mean competitor in my 80s in terms of master swimming. Maybe I'll move back.
Finally,
yeah.
You're like, what I need all you people to, okay.
But even moving to the Bay Area, you're still, you're still near a major airport. You can still easily, I don't know. It just seems like Atlanta or Nashville. I mean, Atlanta's a gigantic city and it's a major hub of Delta, so that maybe that's off the table. But Nashville is really more shocking.
Nashville's got a lot of live show culture. Like people mostly go out to see shows there.
Music, right?
Well,
it's not. It doesn't have it has one club, right? Zanies.
Well, but also the East Room. There's a lot of indie shows there.
Okay. All I know is Nashville has one club that doesn't book me, so I hate the whole city, and I don't know why anyone would live there. But good for everybody.
I'm wondering who's moving there that isn't Nate Bargatze and Kathleen Madigan.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I don't know if they're rumors or people are not telling anyone.
You're like, get out of your homes. Kilmartin said that you were moving to Nashville. This is officially your notice.
I could be in Nashville right now, and this could be a gigantic, what's
simulation?
No, I'm trying to misdirect. I guess misdirection.
Sure. Well, you're in a bunker you are in a bunker in Nashville right now instead of just Burbank.
But I mean, you wouldn't have to tell anyone. Right?
Right.
And everyone could still think you're in the capital of show business, wherever that is for you, and not Nashville. I don't know.
Right. I love the idea that people think that LA might not be coming back. I was like, I'm sorry. There's literally, if you dig for gold, you'll find a bucket of money that you didn't know was behind that weird tree. I mean, this town, it's taken me 20 years.
The trees are coming back, yes.
Yes. It's taken me 23 years of living here, or 22 years, however many years I've lived here, right? Mm-hmm. To realize, I knew that there was money and I knew that there was work, but it took 10 years for people to know that I was staying, and then to start offering me more work. And then it took 20 years for me to figure out, oh, there's like weird pockets of money where you're not even really, you're not famous, you're not even working on anything hot or hip.
Right.
There's just a pile of cash, like leaves, over behind that weird dumpster by the Liquid Zoo. And you're like, don't go there. And then all of a sudden you end up going over there and you're like, oh, look, it's Quibbly or whatever the fuck.
Quibbly, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I see what you're saying. I didn't know what that metaphor meant, but now I know you meant Quibbly. Yeah, I don't know what your tree metaphor meant. I'm like, oh, she means Quibbly. But no, there's that thing of people writing a script and selling selling it, the option for it, and then it expires and then they resell it. And I mean, I don't know how common that is, but people can write one script and make so much money off of it because it never gets made.
Yeah.
So there's weird stuff like that, but it's like obviously Rogan and Joey Diaz is moving to New Jersey. So there's a lot of kind of heavy hitters are leaving some, when clubs open back up, some massive amounts of stage time open.
That's going to be awesome. All of those guys should head out. So I saw today on Joe Rogan's Instagram, don't ask me how I even got there, but he's moving, right? So he's going through his shit, and he has like this amazing Buddha that he bought when he was on acid. And and he tells the story, and I was just like, yeah, when I think of Buddha, when I think of Buddhism, I think of Joe Rogan. That's who I think of. I think of that sort of, that real, it was a very beautiful statue.
I bet it was.
Oh, did you see it as well?
No, I'm hardly ever on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So, no.
Our Instagram is hilarious. That guy, the guy
He's
Jed,
great. Yes.
He's so great.
I need to be more on it. Yeah.
He did a clip of me talking about running the light last that book that I did. I recorded the audio for it, by the way.
Oh, right.
And me talking about getting paid for it, and he tagged Sam Talent. And Sam was like, and I said, no, but I like Sam Talent, and I was talking about the bigger picture, and I think, and so he was like, no, I get what I knew I was going to get my balls busted about not knowing what to pay you. And he's already paid me, and I have to tell him that I can do pickups if he doesn't like the audio. Anyway, it's a great story. I'm stopping.
Wonder if they'll use this clip.
He might. Would you want to do a Max Fun thing?
Let's do that.
Sure.
And we're back.
We are. Here's the thing. So I did not want to be my mother, like very early on in my life. So I didn't learn to clean anything or cook anything. I was like, fuck that. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not being her. Right. And so now my house is filthy. It's just disgusting. And I don't know how to take care of it. Like,
was she cleaning the house?
Yes.
Oh, no wonder you. All right.
Yes. You understand?
Don't
my
even
mourning.
go there. Yeah.
My grief is real.
Now your grief is real.
Oh God.
I'm like this bathroom looks disgusting, and I'm like, oh, it's been 3 months, probably. So whatever, I'll get to it. But so my dishwasher broke, and so I lived in a few apartments in New York that didn't have a dishwasher, but I was never home, and I only like all my meals were out of one plastic cup. Like I just wasn't, it wasn't participating in that part of life. I was just like, get up on stage every night. Right?
You have embraced this crazy ass boy thing that is exhausting to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to.
Now
live
you got to fight the fight.
A male comic, right?
Yeah.
So not in terms of sex, but in terms of hygiene and food and all that kind of stuff, right? So now I have all these dishes, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to clean them, and I can't get them clean. Like I scrub them hard, and then I turn them upside down, and I pick up a glass later, and there's like spots all. Like I don't understand how to clean things, right?
YouTube? Have you thought about looking at some YouTube videos?
And then I have this shark mop, like it's a steam thing, and I haven't touched these floors since like 2015. I don't think my mom did either. I think it was too hard for her. But I noticed, like, every time I walk barefoot, my feet are filthy in the house.
Just crunchy and gross. Yeah.
Yes. So I took it out, and it's a mental hurdle to like figure things out and how to clean it. And
fair enough.
I did it. It was pretty easy.
There you go.
So I'm like, I'm starting to learn shit. And then I almost gave away a blender.
Right.
You
asked me if I wanted it.
Well, I did this thing where a lot of people do this, where you buy something and that you think, okay, that now I can cook, but I don't know how to use this thing. And so I got a Ninja blender. It had the word Ninja, and I'm like, this is good. So I wanted, but I don't know how to use it, and I don't know what to make with it. And so I was trying to give it away, and then I had somebody that agreed to take it, and I felt like I was forcing it on her anyway. And then I thought, well, maybe I would use it. So I texted her and I said, would you mind if I keep my blender? I might use it. I'm going through a domestic phase I've never been through in my life. And who knows? Maybe
you really are.
Things.
You really are. You're going through a domestic phase where you're going to have to figure out how clean you want the place to be. Because this is what, so I always had roommates who were cleaner than I was, right? I always had, and Nancy Cation, my stepmother, told me when I moved in with Andy, I was like, it's killing me. Some of the dirt is killing me, and Nancy Cation explained something to me, and she said it's called a dirt threshold. Whoever has the higher dirt threshold gets to clean less.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, whoever can tolerate it. I don't know. I can't stand it. I can't stand how dirty it is, so I clean, but he can't stand other things. So what I've had to do is A, fucking make peace with it, and B, just clean it when it's driving me nuts. And so you have to what you're finding your dirt threshold, and guess the boy probably higher.
My dirt threshold is 1992 condo high. I mean, comedy condo high.
You are foul. That is disgusting.
I am.
I have to tell you, the first day in any condo, I spent the day cleaning it. Every week. The best year of my life was the year I followed Todd Glass around the country.
Oh, is he insanely anal about that stuff?
Yes. He even at hotels, he'll strip the beds and wash the sheets.
Really?
And then remake the beds. Yeah.
Okay.
So, hey, let's do Comic of the Week, by the way.
Yes. Okay.
Is that cool?
Yes.
Yeah. So I worked with this woman at DNA. She was at the DNA show, so she's a Bay Area comic, and her name is Bethany Van Delft, Delft.
Awesome.
Bethany Van Delft. She was hilarious. I've never seen her. I don't know why. She's the mother of two, right?
Yeah.
She has two little kids, and she had amazing. She had these jokes. She had a joke about white privilege that explained it by comparing it to testicles. So it had a little bit of a
socio and dick joke. I mean, those are my favorites.
It is the best.
It's the best way to explain anything to anybody.
Because people listen. It was amazing.
Yes.
And then she had a joke about masks that was also an amazing analogy. So what I'm saying is that the stuff was smart and silly, and she had a really good stage presence for someone sitting at a desk talking into a camera. So I'm looking forward to seeing her in real life, and it's Bethany Van Delft, and that is her Twitter handle as well. It's BETH.
What part of the Bay Area is she from?
Maybe Santa Cruz. I literally know her from 10 minutes of stand-up. And now I think I follow her on Instagram. But Bethany is spelled Bethany, Vandelft.
Cool.
There you go. Find her.
Yay.
And now we're back.
We don't there.
On Saturday, I had a Zoom show at 6, and then I had a live show at 8. That was really sweet. Yeah. I forgot to tell you that. I meant to tell you that earlier.
I don't like you. Have we expressed? Have we talked about? Congratulations. Just twist the knife, Kilmartin. Twist the knife. So, yeah, I was. People are going on the road, and people are.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. We went down to Marina del Rey. Everybody had masks on for the most part, but there were restaurants that people were sitting outside at El Torito and Marina del Rey.
Outside?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If you're outside,
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't gone to a restaurant because I've read servers saying they wish people weren't going to restaurants. So, but
Fair enough.
you know, I'm not really.
We got to go. We tried to go to Tito's Tacos.
Yeah.
Which is Andy's favorite taco place on the west side down there. But there was a line around the block, and that was at like 2 p.m.
Wow.
It was like, so we went to the pastrami place, and he said, this place has also been here since 1958 or whatever, right? he loves old L.A. Like
Sure.
he's like Matt Oswalt, you know?
Does he like Pink's hot dogs?
He doesn't. He thinks it's overrated. But have you ever been to Okie Dog?
No.
Okie Dog is actually foul, but it literally is. It's 2 hot dogs with pastrami and chili and cheese on top of it.
Oh my God, that sounds awful.
It's like you take a bite and you're like, this is an explosion of flavor. You take a second bite and you're like, I am full. And
Yes.
then it was $4.
Wow. You ever been to Katz's Deli in New York?
Yes.
The pastrami sandwich is like 5 inches tall. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's super.
Yeah.
You want to
But
get
it's
a
the same
half.
Filling. Yeah, you get where you after 3 bites you're done, but you
When
still
we
have
get
20,000 more calories to consume.
when we get to go again to places, I want to be in New York when you're in New York, and let's go to Barney Greengrass, which is my favorite. It's on the Upper
Sure.
West Side. It's on
I
86th
know.
in Amsterdam.
Yeah, I used to live on 96 in Amsterdam.
It's Frances McDormand was there one time when I was there. That was neat for me.
Sure, I think she's still there. I don't think she ever left.
She lives there. She enjoys a whitefish, you guys.
Well,
Yep. What about this week? Are you doing stand-up comedy? Are you going outdoors and doing other awesome shows? Are you parasailing and doing stand-up for dolphins? What the fuck is happening?
I hope so. I think I have some Zoom shows coming up, but we should plug our show.
Oh my God, it's going to be an epic. I can't remember who's on.
Okay.
But it's literally a handful of just killer comics, headliners, all. We went back and we found all of their names because that will help, right?
We looked it up.
We looked it up, and I wanted to have Atsuko on the show, and that's great. And I cannot pronounce her last name. I'm willing to own it, and I'm going to double check before I introduce her on Monday, the 7th at 7 p.m. at Flappers. But it's at Atsuko Comedy on all the different things. And then Liz Winstead, founder of the Daily Show, and then
Yes.
and then
Joyelle Johnson.
Yep.
Jody Miller.
Yep.
And Michelle Abuteau.
There you go.
Who hosts The Circle. And this is the only time my son has expressed any interest or respect for my career because I'm going to be on a show
know her.
with Michelle Abuteau. Yes, so please.
There you go.
Come for that. That's going to be a killer lineup.
Yeah, that's good times, that one. It's Labor Day. Go Union.
Yes. September
Anyway,
7th, Monday.
so
Okay.
so we're doing that show, and that'll be super fun. I have 2 Flapper show. That's at Flappers. That's a Flappers show, the Monday. Jackie and Laurie Comic of the Week lineup, and then but Friday I'm doing 2 shows. I'm doing the 7 and the 9 at Flappers virtual. And then Sunday I'm doing a birthday show for a fan.
Nice.
Oh, my brother Russ has spent the week calling me to tell me who's on Cameo, to encourage and then discourage me to be on Cameo. And then
Are you going to do it?
No, I'm already doing it. I'm doing birthday shows for people. Some guy had me mail him 2 Magic the Gathering cards that were just green mana that said Rangers of the Dork Forest, and then he had me personally sign them. And people can just ask. I don't have to give Cameo 25%. Why do I?
True, but there are people that wouldn't think to ask you till they see you on Cameo. They just start scrolling through Cameo.
Well, I know Norm Macdonald's on Cameo, and I don't know. My brother is fascinated that the blonde guy who was on the TV show Chips is the lowest paying. He would do your birthday or something like that for $30. He would call you.
Was this name John something?
Yes.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And he did it. Russ was telling me that the guy did it over like enough times to have made like a 1,000. I was like, it sounds like a grind, Russ. I don't want to do it. I've already got a grind. I don't I can't.
I talked to your sister. Are you, by any chance, just so you
related?
Know, no, you're, yes. And I suggested to her that you and she have a conversation and we put it on Patreon so people can try to guess who's talking, because she's like you, but she is very smart about money, which you are. You
could have stopped. Way. You could have stopped at very smart. She's like me, because she is. She is like me, but much smarter.
Yes. It's very jarring.
Is it? Does it throw you a little bit because you want to mock her and say you can't be right?
Yes.
But it's Starlocation, so it turns out.
Yeah. Yes. But are you refinancing or thinking of it, or have you even?
No, we did. We did it. 2016. We refinanced.
Dude, the rates are like bananas low right now.
Yeah, ours is ridiculous. Ours is that.
All right. What the fuck? How did that happen?
Right, that's what I said.
Wow.
Yeah. Our monthly, like right now, that's our mortgage.
Whoa, oh my God.
Yes.
No wonder you're so cocky, sitting pretty, putting your Hot Wheels on the walls.
Van Nuys, you guys, Van Nuys. I'm not living in fancy Toluca Lake adjacent. Anyway.
Oh, Burbank? Okay.
Look, I do have a new Hot Wheel. This is the Wonder Woman Hot Wheel. This is the car that would be Wonder Woman. This is not the car that she would drive. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, it sucks when we run out of things to talk about. And you start, not only were you talking about Hot Wheels, but it was a visual conversation.
That'll be there for the Patreons.
So I guess I'm gonna try to refinance because the rate, it's like be 1% lower if I did it.
Yeah, and if you could throw, I mean, I don't know, if you came into some sort of windfall, you could throw a giant bag of money at it if you wanted to, but whatever, you know?
No. I have a tiny windfall from my mother, but it's not, it's something I will just hold on to in desperation because we're in a pandemic and people are leaving town because they think nothing's going to reopen. So, you know what's weird? What I want to talk about, now I remember talking to Darla. It's amazing to talk to people who have that relationship with money where it doesn't feel personal to them. Like I was raised by people who had a complete fear and sometimes well-founded of bankruptcy, and then it actually happened. But then when my mom had money, she was convinced she didn't have it, and so she was afraid of the fact that she had it. You know,
right?
So it was nothing normal, and so I think I've inherited that sort of thinking of, I don't want to know. I'm fingers crossed. Okay, I have a pension. That'll be okay. That'll be right.
Right. No, I don't think anyone has a good relationship with money, and everyone's individual for some reason is crazy. But keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But did you, when you were on the road early on, like I used to listen to this guy. I'm sure he's like a total right-wing nut named Bob Brinkerhoff. Do you remember that at all? He was like on 800, like he was on AM, right? And it was always Bob Brinker's money problems or whatever. And people would call in, and I had no money, but I was interested in it. And I was like, maybe this will bleed into my brain so that if I get money, I'll do the right thing with it. And it didn't. I don't even know what anything is. And when I start to try to understand it, I just tap out. Like just the phrase "buy money" makes my head explode. I can't understand it. And finance people like your sister are so comfortable talking about that, and they grasp it. To me, it's ungraspable.
Well, let me tell you, if you were raised nominally like radiation, like by my father, where he wasn't around a lot, but he affected all of our lives, that's a bit. Anyway, but the thing is you would have an attitude toward money that is incredibly, like, there'll always be more money. And you just, like the way he dealt, like, I was just talking to him yesterday, and he was like, I realized I made a lot of money. And I was like, where is all that money? And I said, I don't know, Dad. I was wondering if you chose to have 6 kids on purpose. And he was like, oh, yeah, that'll eat through it. And But it's like, I mean, there's literally, we were raised without money, but there was always money, right? It was
right.
like, it's a weird.
But didn't you say at a time you guys were pretty poor in terms of you, or was that because your dad wasn't taking care of you? Like he had money, but he wasn't.
Right.
Like,
Well, yeah,
your stepmother came in and sort of fixed things, but was that an actual money problem, or was that more of a neglect by a dad who doesn't know how to do that kind of shit thing?
When my dad and my mother separated, my father refused to pay child support because my mother was just drinking it and he didn't like how when they got married, she was like 16 when they met. Wow. And 17 when they got married, and he did what my grandfather had always done, which was brought his check home and gave it to my mother and assumed that was all he had to do. But it turns out when you're 17 years old, you don't have a lot of financial responsibility. So like my mother would do things like she would send all the laundry out. When she got the check, she would do things like buy us all new clothes and buy new furniture and send all the laundry out until she ran out of money. And then we were all wearing weird, like there's a couple of pictures of me. I'm wearing like a pillowcase and tights. And or there's a picture of me wearing like a wedding gown and I'm 4, right? I mean, it's like, it's famine or feast, right? Kind of thing. So when he left, he was like, I'm not going to give her the money. I'm going to give the money to my mother, my grandmother. And then everybody just went to my grandmother's house to eat. And then my grandmother would like buy clothes and stuff, but I was too little. So my brother Phil would cook for me. And so there was like 3 years where I was eating like weird, like I still to this day hate buttered noodles because he was like 11 or 14.
Aww.
So he didn't know how to cook.
Sure.
So, but like, so there was no money, but there was money, you know? I mean, my dad was making okay money, but he wasn't giving it to my mother, and my mother, every dime she made, wasn't using it wisely at that time. So, I mean, there was, but I know that when Nancy came, there was this sense of lack, you know. She was like, we have to organize the money, and my dad didn't trust quite as much, and I don't know, there was some issues and stuff like that. So how it manifested in stand-up was that I didn't quit my day job until 2003. I was working 30, 40 weeks a year, plus having a day job, but I always had a day job where they would let me go on the road.
Right.
Like when I lived in Minneapolis, I could go on the road every weekend and just work 40 hours on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then head out on Thursday through. And so that was great. And then when I moved to LA, I wasn't working as many weeks. I would only work like 20 weeks a year because they would let me do either I could do 2 10-week runs or 3 6-week runs. And my boss would get a temp to take my spot.
Wow. I was still working for CMP, a media, website company.
Yeah.
While I was during my first season of Tough Crowd, because I was certain that I was like coding on the weekends and at night and trying to get my spots in, because then I was, you know.
We're that kind of comic. And then there's other comics who are like, I've been doing it 2 years. I quit my job. I'm living in my car.
Right. I never wanted to live in my car. I wanted to.
Me neither. I've lived in a car. I vaguely remember. I don't want any part of it.
Are there any female comics that live in a car in a hardcore way versus? I mean, I would.
Carmen Morales, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, she literally did the road for 6 years in her Saturn, where she oftentimes slept in her car. And then, get this, you know what the end of that story was? And then she wasn't killed. Terrifying. I wouldn't have done it. I had a hard time. I didn't even like, you know when you had to drive those 10-hour days?
Yeah.
I didn't even like going into... I would rather park, not by the truckers, because that was not safe either.
No. Right.
But I wouldn't do the get off the road at the rest stops either, because that was super not safe.
No.
I would go park by closer to where they would eventually roust me. I would just take an hour nap. They would let you take an hour nap, but at the truck stops, but like near the front door, just in case, so someone could see me be murdered. Yes.
No, I would go to Denny's and park in the Denny's parking lot because it's open 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's what I recommend to anybody. Never sleep in a truck stop ever or
ever. Try not to. Yeah.
Yeah. Go to a place that's open 24 hours, a restaurant, and just fall asleep in the back.
One time I could not stay awake, and I did a rest stop, and a cop rousted me, and he was like, "Nope," and I said, he said, "Lady, this isn't safe, and you can't." And I said, "Okay, I was just falling asleep. I'm so sorry," but I had about 30, 40 minutes of sleep, and so. Right. I would rather, I've always been let me ask you, on the road, are you a person who could drive after the show overnight, or are you a person who, oh yeah? Because I couldn't do it. I always got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and drove into the sun. No, that was the only way I could do it.
I would pull into, I would drive into the sun as well, but I would pull in at 6 in the morning and then fall asleep. Yeah. Not now. I couldn't do that now, but, in my 20s and 30s.
Right.
Yeah, I would constantly do that. I was so hyper from the show. I mean, you can't sleep anyway, so I would never be able to wake up at 4 in the morning if I was up till 1 a.m., because I killed.
You got to unwind, right?
Yeah.
You got to unwind. But I would be better with 4 hours of sleep, like getting to sleep at like 1:32, waking up at 4:30, and then driving straight and getting into the. Then I get home at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I could just sleep, and I would sleep until the next day and go to work. Wow. Because I could sleep like 12, 14 hours. I sleep like the big cats. That's what I like. I like to get. I like to get that kind of sleep. So,
I was just a comic when I was living with my parents up until I was like 32 or something. And then when I moved to New York, then I had a day job doing web stuff until Tough Crowd, the second season.
I love that. I think that because the thing is, you don't know. And I quit my day job in 2003 when I got my half-hour special at Comedy Central. Yeah. And it was and it paid $15,000, and I was like,
that's a lot in 2003.
And it was the most money I had ever made on one gig ever. And I was like, if you don't take this chance and believe in yourself. And so that first 6 months afterwards, where I was scrambling to get one-nighters just out of LA, because I had my 20 weeks, but I had broken my road cred, right? I had sort of broken my, I only had sort of 20 weeks because I hadn't been doing because I had spent 5 years in LA.
Oh, I see.
Just doing those 20 weeks.
So not enough bookers knew who you were.
I'd let things lay dormant a little too long. Yeah. So I had to scramble, and I was doing one. Rontowski helped me out a lot. She got me a lot of one-nighters that first 6 months.
That's awesome.
Where I was like, I got to come up with $450 in rent. I got to come up with, and I think it was, and it was, and then luckily Andy Ashcraft wanted to move in together, and he had a really good job. So I started, the tea to the government.
Sure. Well,
did we do 2 breaks, or should we take a break now?
Let's take a break, and then that'll coast us in.
Okay.
All right. Good times. I did DC Loft and Wonder Dave show tonight, and they were both. We had trolls. We had Zoom Bomber at DC Loft. DC
really?
Loft. Yeah. I was like, did you guys not have registration? And I didn't get an answer because someone was playing mariachi music a lot and screaming, fuck you. And then, but they kicked them out. They kicked them out as fast as they can, and they came back in very fast as well. It was weird.
Oh, my God. What an odd heckle, mariachi music.
I know. Usually I don't mind it. I live right off the Pacoima Wash. It's not like I don't hear the glorious sounds of guitar and trumpet.
I was just thinking of the castanet sounds again.
Yeah.
I guess
from your live show. Yeah.
Yeah, from the live show. I guess both live shows. I was thinking, was it the first one or the second one? But it's probably both.
Do they get to keep the castanets, or do they have to give them back and they disinfect them?
I think they get to keep them. I think they get to keep them. That's part of the cover charge. Oh, but Tammy says, she showed me this. Takara Williams did one of her shows, and somebody who's living in a high rise, like maybe on Sunset, was able to see into the show. And so they took video of Takara's set and sent it to Takara. And it just looked so fucking cool. I'm like, could that person record everything and we just release this as a Netflix special? Because it's fucking cool looking.
It's good for Tammy Jo, man. She's hustling.
Hustling. She's working harder than some of these comedy clubs, for fuck's sake, man.
She has always she grinds it out. She's one of the great producers of the world, quite honestly. She's really, really good at it. Speaking of the store, Carmen Morales told me that she's going to do her podcast live in the Comedy Store with the audience in the porch.
That's cool.
Through the window, I guess, or something. And
I heard they own the land that they're on. So.
Oh, the store owns that building?
Why? Like,
there we go. Good.
Now I'm caring about financials about Comedy Club. And what's the improv situation with that piece of land on Melrose? But yeah, I mean, that's good. So they don't have to worry about that. So I'm sure they'll remain in business. That's great.
Hey, and this guy emailed me and asked me if I could help him because he's lost a bunch of income.
Huh.
Yeah, I just typed a name. But let me tell you, I don't know. I could be supportive but not sympathetic. That seems backwards. But
a lot of road work, you mean?
Yeah. I think he's a cruise ship guy.
Okay.
I think those guys are fucked.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
That may not come back. That actually may not come back as a thing.
That sucks. I wanted
that year to be your retirement?
Into cruise ship comedy in like 15 years. Like,
you're alone of the two of us.
Vision board.
Of the two of us, you are
alone.
Come
on! Well, shoot.
Yeah, I have an eating disorder. I can't be on a floating buffet.
You can't be near a buffet.
Yeah. It's a terrible life choice.
I understand.
You do. You get it. But I think we're close. What shows you got shows this week? You said.
Yeah, but I haven't printed. Here's my August calendar that I keep on the wall.
Yeah.
Printed out my September one. I'm sorry, so I don't have them to plug right off the top of my head. And I only want to plug our show on the 7th. That's
at
the only
7 p.m.
I'm concerned about in the next week.
And so the shows that I've been doing, I've been doing them on Fridays the last couple of weeks because I've had a bunch of sets on Sundays. But I've just been, like, the people who donate every month, I've just been putting the link out to them. And today my brother was explaining to me that, my brother Russ sent me these 2 clips of how financial stuff works in the music industry. And I was like, yes, that's how it works in the comedy industry. He was like, yeah, that these musicians they get these email lists together, and then they're like, I'm coming to Toledo, and then they send out an email blast to everybody they know in Toledo. And I was like, yes, I have 5 jobs, Russ. And he was like, so you do that when you go on the road? And I was like, how long have we known each other? It's very weird. Anyway, it's a fascinating story.
Somebody at the live show was telling me that they were doing a show, like a secret show in a club. You know? And it's just like, I don't know what to say, because I was like, are you worried because the audience will be laughing your direction? Aren't you worried about yourself? And they were like, no, there's 6 feet between us. I'm like, 6 feet's a fucking guess from scientists. It could be more, like, it's just so strange to me that comics that are kind of healthy and health nuts think that they got this. Like,
they totally. Yeah,
I know how to not get it. I'm good. I'm good.
That's it exactly. That's it exactly.
It's a fucking virus. It's a virus. It'll get you. It could get you. You could be the one that it gets. You could be the healthy person it decimates,
I want a plexiglass in front of me and the audience. That's what I want if I go back inside a room.
Right.
I think we're done, right?
Yeah, can I do the plug real quick for Lisa's record?
Oh, hey!
Oh!
You guys, you should know
Those who
Lisa
stuck around
Curry.
to the end need to know you're the hardest core, so you got to support this. A friend of mine and friend of the show, Lisa Curry, Her first debut comedy album is coming out on 9/2 in a couple of days after this comes out. It's called Alive for Now. It's pre-available on Apple Music. She recorded the whole thing herself. She booked herself for 2 nights in London after a bunch of American clubs wouldn't book her for a debut record. She is legitimately one of my favorite comedians, and just watching
Lisa Curry.
What a
Yeah, she's
badass.
hilarious.
The whole
She's
thing
great.
herself.
Yep.
And it's Alive for a While or Alive for Now?
Or Alive for Now.
Alive for Now.
What
I
a
think so.
perfect
Wait,
title.
let me double check. No, Alive for a While. Let me get
Alive
it right.
for a While.
That means Alive for Now is open and available to anyone who wants to name their album that.
But yeah, so check that out, guys, and thanks.